Yeah, it definitely feels very contrary to what PSG typically want to do. A lot of their game wins are coming around that 35, 36-minute point. So it is definitely outside of that window that this composition really lines up for. But it does offer a lot of playmaking tools, and perhaps that is one way for them to really force themselves out of that very slow fight-taking mentality.
Do want to see how Burry can act as an anchor in this game for that Galio. This is a composition that we just haven't seen much of from PSG. Taking a look here at the summoners across the board, we're going to get a grasp in the top lane for the Fiora, and the rest of it pretty standard overall. Do have Gory with the spellbook this time around.
And the big thing for BYG is that they've really made it a focal point of their team to just constantly focus on keeping track of the enemy jungler, and that really enables them to do what they do on the map. A lot of the times they're playing super far forward in lane, and that's just because of the fact that they know where the jungler is. And even then, they sort of take the mentality of, hey, you can only gank one of these lanes, so if we push up in all of them, we're going to get more advantages than we lose because one lane does get ganked.
And just like you mentioned, we do have a deep ward early on into PSG jungle. They're going to spot out Burry now as he transitions in towards the top side. Even though the observer didn't show it, I'm pretty sure that Burry was definitely spotted right there. Oh, actually, the question mark things go down, but I still think they know that that is happening. I mean, in the meantime, Beyond Gaming going to be heading towards the top lane. We definitely have seen a couple games where Husha tries to get Lee Kai onto a good path early.
Yeah, and
Lee Kai getting some good work.
Is already coming out with a great level 1. Of course, Hanabi doesn't have any CC to try and trade back against Lee Kai and the level disadvantage, at least at level 1 and a little bit at level 2, especially with the level differential. And this game for PSG will be really key on Gory being able to find his way out of lane, or, I mean, I suppose just take the 1v1 trades against Minji.
Yeah, I'm looking at the HP bars there, and Minji is already... he just went up to a 500 HP deficit just a moment ago. Gets level 3 and is back, and now Gory might be in a little bit of trouble for ganks, but he almost feels like he sniffs something is off here. Minji trying to get in position for those abducts. Goes behind the minion line, is going to find the stun. Gory actually charges back in, and in goes the stun. Winter's Wrath does land. Can Gory get out? It's one more auto attack. Burry with the red buff coming in though against Minji. No, it's not enough to save, but they do trade back, and now Husha is left 1v2. That's going to be a big win for PSG.
Actually, a massive win for the side of PSG, who are the first ones to respond to that skirmish instance, able to pull their support into the play, and that allows them to trade out 2 for 1. Big win there for the side of PSG, especially accounting for the fact that Gory did get one of those kills, whereas on the flip side, it was Husha who claimed the kill. It was really nice execution here, but right when they go in for the play, you can see Kaiwing immediately just runs straight up. So, you know that he will arrive faster because of the inside track he has over Kina.
Really well done. Great positioning by Gory as well, just to survive on a sliver of HP and drag that fight out into his favor. So, PSG right now, we're looking at an accelerated bot lane. Minji going in for a little bit more trading. Husha come back in, but not much they can do as Gory is able to just trounce back underneath his tower. And this should put a bit of pressure on Hanabi here. Let's see how PSG decides to react to this one. So far in the top lane, Lee Kai's actually been having a pretty good time here against the Croc. Talked about that level 1. Great use of the bone plating. And let's see as Husha and Burry fight each other across the jungle here. Kino gonna get spotted as he moves up towards the top side. So
yeah, and the big thing was that PSG, with that skirmish, they really asserted a pretty solid line of vision down in that bottom side. So that's going to keep Unified pretty safe and secure, and that additional knowledge also means that, hey, we can gander a guess that Wusha's probably going to be spending more time topside because of the vision we already set up.
We have some great vision being placed here by the Wukong here. We see the pink ward over into the Raptor, so top lane very much secure, even with Wusha's presence right there. And now we have the patented Kaiwing roam, the level 4 roam early here, potentially trying to go for the scuttle. This is very interesting and unmatched by the side of Beyond Gaming. Let's see if Kaiwing is going to make this one successful, but he's going to get spotted out very early on. Kaiwing knows this as well, and wow, that is the Infernal Drake open. Let's see if Beyond Gaming decides to react to this one or not.
Yeah, definitely a lot of pings coming down from the side of PSG. I understand, hey, maybe there will be a late blue buff invade because of the fact we did show topside. Now, we'll see what kind of trap does get set up. It does look like they'll give up that knowledge, and we could see yet another scuffle around this blue buff.
Kaiwing trying to act as bait here. Minji goes forward, but they know they're in a 3v2. Rakan just rounds the corner, so make that a 4-man. Beyond Gaming do get the 2v1 push in the bot lane, so they now have control over the river right here. Let's see if Minji tries to get something done with that stolen solar flare.
Maybe a little bit impatient with the timing there. Coming in from Minji as looks like both of these junglers will be in the vicinity and will most likely see some sort of interaction bot lane, whether it is just resetting the wave or we try and set up for a possible 3v3 fight.
Yeah, I really want to see some action happen already. It's a 3 kills, not too slow of a game, but so far only just one scuffle. And we have both of them positioning for the Infernal Drake, a very important Drake early on. And as we've seen, Minji's just been taking a beating constantly here in this mid lane. Definitely a very familiar sight if you know Minji at all. Wusha coming in with the level 6. Bury has not had time to get his ultimate just yet, but they are still going to escort the two of them away now. Bury going a little bit low. Bury, the Ignite goes down. They find the first kill. And because of that level difference, Beyond Gaming find a big win and move straight towards Herald.
And Wusha just has ever so slight EXP advantage in that case. He's the one with the level 6. On the flip side, Bury just a bit behind. So that missing EXP makes that much of a difference in that play. It won't actually result in the Herald, but it will result in the smaller crab going into their hands. And now Wusha, I mean, he went back and got an early Lucidity boost, so he's got a lot of playmaking potential here with that extra cooldown reduction on his ultimate. So now we're looking for PSG to make a big wombo play because they do have a lot of those team fight ults online now.
And this feels like such a familiar temple that we've seen from PSG. They drop a kill, and then on the reset, they go straight for Herald. This is the most PSG thing that we've seen so far. In the meantime, Beyond Gaming are going to trade back a Drake, so not all is lost. And because of the pressure there, we do see that bot lane, Unified, is ceding his lane over to the likes of Wako. No action going to be happening so far, and I do want to get your opinion on this trade in the objectives.
I think for PSG, it makes sense to try and accelerate the gold perspective, but the issue is you do give up the Inferno Dragon. So I think this is much more favorable for the side of BYG, given the fact that early dragons are just much stronger, and just the fact that you get a combat Drake, especially with Ocean coming around, it could just be a Cloud Soul, and that would mean you get the one combat dragon of the available Drakes.
That just feels kind of bad right there. Bury with a successful handoff here, and we're looking at where this Herald is going to drop. Kaiwing has been hovering around this lane so far, and throughout this entire game, we have seen Bury been able to control this mid lane, giving Kaiwing kind of that freedom of navigation here in the river. And let's see, you know, Kaiwin going in, trying to find something against Kino, who doesn't have his ultimate right here. Is going to send Kaiwin off on the long way. Nice cheeky play, back and forth. But it doesn't look like it's going to amount to much. Maybe the Herald being dropped to the bottom here, as Gory still has his flash and is trying to keep a little bit safe. He dodges out on the abduct, not going to get away from the Winter's Wrath. The Permafrost does go down, and there goes the ultimate. Zanya comes in. Can Gory survive? He still has his flash. He charges back in. Minji will pick him up with the Kingslayer, though. PSG looking for revenge.
Kaiwin can get in range for the ultimate.
Bury still looking for it, but no, he's going to turn around afterwards. I believe his Cyclone, his clone cooldown was already expended there. Isn't able to close the distance. And that's actually Minji up with 2 takedowns already.
Very surprising. But for the side of BYG, they've really executed well around it. They've been able to force these ganks into the mid lane. And it will be both crowns now completed in that mid lane. And we've yet to see that big Wombo play come out from PSG, right? It's level 8 already onto Gory, so he's had a lot of time to try and use this Gallia ultimate, and so far, nothing has come of it. So this draft from PSG, like, this is what this draft is all about. You have to make that early play. And so far, it's been BYG that have dictated the pace of the game.
I do want to talk to you about time frames. When do you see PSG starting to succumb to the 131 and the Fiora and the Silas scaling maybe? Like, how many item spikes can they go on before Beyond Gaming really starts to hit their stride?
For PSG, it's really about the 2 items. After 2 items, you really fall into a sinkhole, because then the Fiora just gets way too far out of control, and then the Zeri is just going to be hopping around. Once she gets that 3rd item, it's almost game over, because then you have the IE completed. The shock lasers are going to do way too much damage to you, and then PSG, of course, your Renekton has slowed down, your Galio is sort of capped at 2 items as well to here as so then it's all on the back of Unify.
Wako might be
he
thinking about face checking. Yeah, he's not going to go all the way there. You know, I'm getting a lot of PTSD from the earlier match I watched today in the LCS, but our AD carries are...
Is that you?
No. I hope not, but it seems fine right there. I was rooting for my homeboy Maple. To be honest, not his best series, but, you know, you still got to hang in there. PSG, in the meantime, they do overtake the gold lead after that 4-man play. They got the Herald, got 4 plates, especially onto the Sivir, which does actually leapfrog her in terms of the item. Now with the first Mythic here, and we have on the map in 40 seconds the both the Herald and the Ocean Soul coming up. Yeah. So actually a very strong timing push for the side of PSG. But as I say that, Wako also manages to get his first Mythic and is now on board.
Yeah, the first item I would say favors Unify just a little bit more because he has that extra half item. And this fight will be incredibly important for them, right? Because for PSG, they really want to get something out of this composition. It's about this Wombo. For BYG, I really think that if they're able to effectively stall this dragon, they can immediately just turn their attention and get themselves the Rift Herald, which I think is much more beneficial for them in this case.
All right, looks like both teams are going to contest for this one. Hushak going in first and getting a little bit of damage onto Kaiwing. Beyond Gaming actually doing a good job at clearing out these wards. It's a 5v5 situation with Hanabi waiting on the wings. He's spotted right now. The Husha is not going to give up his ground. They actually get a nice Ultra Shock laser through the wall to go through here. Both teams are still contesting heavily for this spot. I want to see that Wombo combo happen. You know, we're looking at Bury, we're looking at Kaiwing. Those are the guys that can go in and give Gory that anchor point. We also have the Ghost there for Gory, so all prepped up for this big team fight. The tension is mounting, but so far neither side is ready to strike just yet. Ooh, but now they see the Fiora going on the other side. This is toasting though. Oh, PSG's still gonna play around. Neither side really inching towards that trick at all. This is, oh boy, this is making me sweat.
Well, now there's also a Rift Herald up and available, so I think BYG, they're okay with either situation. And for PSG, it's about them actually pulling the trigger. They need to force the issue, and this is sort of one of the criticisms we've had of them just this playoff series, or not this particular playoff series, but this playoff season, that they've been very unwilling to just go. And at a certain point with this composition, you just have to go.
Exactly. Like, with this comp, you can't just take objectives. You actually need to win big. And Kaiwing goes in for a face check right here. Leakai's going to make his way over. And PSG actually walk themselves into Beyond Gaming's composition. Let's see if Bird can get in. He gets a two-man knock-up. Galio's in, but the Wombo combo doesn't find any crowd control. And now Hanabi doesn't have the dominance. So if we're looking across the ultimates right here, it's going to be Beyond Gaming that still has 3 ultimates up. And they're going to leverage that for positioning.
See what they actually do with this as they are approaching it sort of slow as Fiora goes back into the bottom lane. I really do think that they should just look to trade for Herald in this instance, because the extra money will be so beneficial to accelerate that 1-3-1 potential here for the side of BYG. And yeah, it looks like Beyond Gaming, they'll go ahead, go for the resets. PSG, they'll get themselves this Ocean Dragon.
Oh, does seem like you called it. They're heading straight for Herald.
Yeah, and a lot of will be said with what this Dragon Rift will be. That will set the tempo. Is this going to be Cloud? There we go.
Ah, it's Cloud.
The one stat dragon that comes into play is that one Inferno, and that will make a big difference for the side of BYG, because if this was a stat dragon, then PSG would have the opportunity to really throw a wrench into the plan, because it forces BYG to start contesting these dragons. However, now they're kind of okay with letting the second or even third one go into the hands of PSG.
And that's absolutely massive, because we were talking about Wombo combo, and if you don't go near objectives as a 5-man, well, there's not really much to Wombo combo against. Like, you're just not going to fall into that trap of giving over multiple kills to PSG. So, you know, there's a very real potential that Beyond Gaming can play this 1-3-1 at a very leisurely pace from this point onwards.
Yeah, and PSG, they need to strong arm some sort of play. Because it's 18 minutes and we haven't seen a play created by themselves, right? Because the 2 kills that happened was because BYG pulled off a play and PSG responded very well, and it was a good response, but it wasn't it wasn't something that they came up with and forced upon BYG. So, and the tempo of the game so far is just all about what Beyond Gaming are doing rather than what PSG should be doing with this composition.
Oh, and this is definitely a worry I had with this draft coming in here, as PSG not really known for playing this type of comp. We just had a gander at the gold draft there. It is going to be Zeri with the most gold actually on the map. Very interesting about that, considering we saw 4 plates go over to Unified, but Wako still comes out ahead in terms of both the farm and the overall gold.
Yeah, and part of that has also been PSG just trying to roam Kaiwing around the map.
True.
Trying to force a play. And right now, PSG, they're pulled apart. They're set up in this 1-3-1, but because they're set up in the 1-3-1, that's actually detrimental to them, because of the fact Gory now cannot make these side lane plays, because the only thing available to him is to try and help out mid lane. He's not going to be able to gank down in this bottom lane, which is what you would like to see when you have one of these semi-global ultimates.
Yeah, Hushaf pushing forward here. You know the Renekton's not there, and Hushaf's willing to go in really far. Pops the crown of Shatter Queen. being a
Husha's just
nuisance
been
here.
playing so well this playoffs.
He has my vote as the best jungler in the PCS. I'm not sure if he wins it overall, but he has in my heart.
Yeah, I agree with you because of how much he helps out his lanes and how well he understands his role. And it's a very difficult role, right? Because BYG, we're still our 6th-seeded team, and a lot of their wins came off the back of Husha being able to stabilize these fairly weak solo laners and then get them to that team fighting stage where they can shine. And we're just having this really weird staring contest. I don't know what to make.
I actually think this is pretty smart from Husha because he did grab an early Warmox, so he's able to harass, get some HP, and then he walks all of it off instantly.
Yeah.
So, very.
I mean, it's
very
really
fun
smart
build
play
here.
from Husha, and it allows him to just continue to invade nonstop. And the problem is, usually when you go for a Warmogs build, it means that you don't have the resistances to back up the extra HP. But if you look on the side of PSG, they don't have a ton of damage, right? They're not going to one-shot a Sejuani out of nowhere. And now that he has that Aegis online as well, that is more than enough at this point in the game with his large health pool to be able to survive the initial initiation of a fight, reset, allow the Warmogs to come in, and then he can just walk back into the fight.
And we do have the Herald drop down because of time constraints right here. Let's see if PSG are able to make a stop. Husha perhaps wanting to come in from the side, but is going to get spotted here. But Navi has the inside track. This is a 5v4. Highwing looks to go in. Find a target, and let's see if the Herald. No, Shelly dies in route. Yeah, that's actually still fine for Beyond Gaming.
Yep.
And PSG now.
Solo.
Ooh, yeah, a lot of gold
that is
there.
Solo gold. Yep. As PSG, they're going to be forced to
Take
start
the
this
TP here.
objective.
The TP is coming in. Fiora looking for the side flank. Already a lot of damage being done. Hanabi trying to fight his way across the flank here. Murray going in as well. And Beyond Gaming actually scattering in 2 different directions. With Hanabi going low, Wako still around, and Beyond Gaming is just kind of running circles around here. The engage does not land as they go
Chase
in.
is on.
Yeah, this is a very scattered fight, but so far no one is going down.
Wako
actually
going in
goes
by
in.
himself.
He nearly goes down, but is able to kite back from all of this, and he leaves Gory in no man's land. They also get a kill onto the Wukong into the bottom side. PSG now have to scatter. What a heroic move by Nazari.
Oh my god, Wako stepping up to the plate. Once again delivers for Beyond Gaming, goes over the wall by himself, puts threat onto Burry, and Gory trying to bail his jungler out. Fortunately, overextends himself, splits himself off, and BYG, it was a very scattered fight, but that's exactly what they want to do when they have a champion like Fiora, who wants these more messy fights, so then she doesn't get targeted and burst out at the start of the fight. As we get to see the replay, the teleport comes in, and PSG, they're really focused on trying to engage forward before the flank comes through, but unfortunately the engage doesn't come out fast enough, and Minji lands a fantastic heroics entrance there to really cut the fight off. And that's where things just get really, really dicey for the side of PSG, because Hanabi is now zoned off of the situation. You don't have the big Renekton damage, and at 1.5 items, he does do a lot of work in these fights, but he gets zoned off, and that's really the end of it.
Yeah, that was it felt very half-hearted from PSG. Like, if you want to play this composition and you go in, you have to go in with everything you've got, but that wasn't what PSG actually did. I think Minji really outplayed them, actually gets out with a heroic entrance, and did you just see that damage graph? That was pretty much a 1v9 show. Wako, I think, did more damage than at least 8 members on the field there.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And now we're looking at a 4K gold lead for the side of BYG. It's also 25 minutes into the game, and this is a composition that PSG needed to get online at around the 14 to 16 minute mark, right? You had to be super aggressive around that second dragon, and accelerate the pace with a second Herald as well, but they get second Dragon, but no second Herald.
Goes down onto 3. Gory gonna come in, but not before his jungler goes down. And Pusha is still gonna hold his ground. Na'Vi's comes in though, and he's packing the deep as he takes down the jungle on the other side. Lika trying to find an entrance here, but there is no crowd control, and Sivir is going to walk everyone away from that one. So it does end up just being a jungle for jungle trade.
Jungle for jungle trade. So it is a neutral trade. That's going to be favorable for PSG. Trading even in that situation. But look at the difference in the gold between the junglers. It's a 70 CS gap for Husha on the Sejuani. And part of that is just because of the fact that he's constantly able to walk into PSG's jungle, steal those camps, deny extra gold away, and he's already out to 2 completed items. I've never seen such a fast jungle differential before in my life.
Yeah, that's crazy. 70 plus CS, you know, if it was in the top or the bot, maybe we've seen that, but jungle, this is a big reason why I don't really like Bury on this Wukong, because Wukong is a champion that needs to farm, and he's playing a pretty early game tempo composition, and then you add on top of that, PSG don't really strong arm in lane anymore. This is not the PSG of 2021, so it is his most played, but I just don't see it as being particularly powerful in the team setup of PSG.
Yeah, in this particular game, I think it would have made more sense to go for something like the Xin Zhao. I understand that they want to prioritize it to deny it away from Husha, but the Xin would have functioned a lot better in this instance. Being able to function on low econ may be the key in the series for PSG, at least from Bury's end, as he's just been dragged around the map trying to help his lanes while also trying not to get shoved out of his own jungle. And so far, BYG are the ones that, once more, like, this is a composition that shouldn't be able to dictate the pace until after 2 items. They've dictated the pace from the get-go, and now they're on 2.5 items. Even 3 items onto the Zeri, and Zeri on 3 items does feel like it's game over.
So I guess the hard question here is, what happens if Beyond Gaming actually force a fight? Are they better off just waiting here?
I think for the side of BYG, you don't need to overforce any situation, right? Because you do have the Fiora that is now just effectively working her way up into those Nexus turrets up topside. Eventually, it will happen, and PSG, you have to go. You have a Sivir ultimate. Throw the Sivir ult and sprint time.
All right, we'll see if Gory comes over, if they heed the voices of Dark Palpatine Lord Nightstar. But it doesn't look like it. They're actually being top lane, so we're not going to get any action here. And jeez, that is a worrying sign when Mark Waco can kind of four-tap your jungler. They're actually just going to let this one go. So it looks like Beyond Gaming are going to get their 3-item spike. I don't see a way to stop it.
Yeah, this is deeply concerning because at the same time, right? They're throwing extra resources up into Gory, and while Gory can join with his ultimate, I feel like you need Gory in the mid lane to then also be able to threaten the top lane 2-man gang.
Yeah,
and still also be able to start engages in that mid lane to try and force the team fight. But the lane allocations is a little bit funky. Everything just seems really out of sorts for this game one for the side of PSG.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see if PSG can make a comeback here. I would say that PSG, for the most part, if there are still objective fights to be had, they can always find an angle to go through those. That's what they're known for. Kino going to take some love taps from the Baron. Not a huge concern here, but we are getting to the point where I don't see either of these side lanes working out anymore for PSG, and we are going to see a market level of damage difference coming out. We have Beyond Gaming with essentially 3 fully fledged carries, while PSG only have 1 committed damage dealer in Unified. So it's it doesn't look pretty here, and I feel like the side lanes are going to get even more brazen from Beyond Gaming. As we do see some poke here and there. Usha just too damn healthy with the Moggies. It'll be okay.
And this is where the game's going to boil down to. You have a 4-item Sivir.
Yep.
It's all about the Sivir now. And if Unified's able to survive and get a ton of autos without taking damage himself, then he might be able to win these fights just by himself, right? We know that's the potential of Sivir, where just one ricochet crit going across all 5 members and just constantly bouncing around. It's all up to RNG basically, and Unified is set up in a position.
Oh, this Baron's going down so fast. Can Bury actually make the steal here?
Too late.
He has the flash and the clone.
Oh, wait.
No, Beyond Gaming are not going to risk it 100%. That could have been a Baron throw. It definitely was a 50-50 Baron for sure. And they don't go all the way. They just pull PSG across the map right here. It is teleport expended for no summoner usage by Beyond Gaming, so looks like they're just happy with getting Hanabi to burn that TP.
But now, look, they've reset themselves into the 1-3-1 position. So,
Kaiwin going in right now. Unified going to follow up
finally.
Here. Hushot just going to walk away with that one, Not going to even throw out his ultimate. Very, very, it was incredible control about what he wants to do on the map here. He's just buying time for Leakai. He's not going to overreact. 600 gold.
And they just keep generating advantages because they're getting pulled.
Sivir, we've seen this before. It's the Sivir gank coming in. Let's see if Leakai can't take this. Oh, it's going to be a 1v3, but Gory dies in the meantime, and Gory nearly goes down. He flashes it. He gets the grand challenge. He's healing up. He's going to take the 1v3, and he actually flops out. Gets another flash out of Unified. Can he do it? Unified on one auto attack, and Leakai, he makes the 1v3 play. What an amazing riposte! He kills Gory, turns around the bottom lane, and Beyond Gaming take everything.
That's a 3-4-0 trade for Beyond Gaming, and then they throw the Baron on top of it. They get absolutely everything on this map, Clement, and this game 1 was just a masterclass coming in from BYG, and a lot of changes have to come through from PSG. I don't necessarily hate the draft. The draft itself is fine. The execution was nowhere even close to being fine, though.
Well, the game is going to balloon about to 10k advantage Beyond Gaming after that one. They kill Bury, they outplay the 1v3 in the bot lane, and then they pick up 2 towers plus the Baron afterwards. So massive swing in their part, and oh boy, I need to get myself a replay of that. Please, observers, give us a replay of that 1v3.
I love the fact that we got a split screen too.
Oh yeah.
And instead of the picture-in-picture stuff, no, we just get the split screen. That was fantastic.
Here we go.
Actually see the replay. It's of this bot lane fight. Leakai gets the parry. It's just too easy against the Gallia, who's very transparent in what he wants to do with his CC. And then, I mean, he just tries to buy time with the heroic entrance, and just enough time. He's got so many levels that the cooldown is low for Leakai to get that second riposte off.
Oh, those ripostes were just absolutely chef kisses right there. He does get tagged by the Zenith Blade, but not the stun afterwards, and is able to chase down the damage dealer in Unified right there. Beautiful stuff from Leakai. What more could you want? This is the Leakai from Machi of old. This is the Leakai that gets his starting position over Leon, which has been, a very steady part of Beyond Gaming throughout this year.
Yeah. It's been Leakai in the summer split. Didn't see much play during the spring, but now that it's more about these scaling sort of champions, Leakai's become much more of a factor, and he is just strong-arming this game himself. He is willing his team over the line, and BYG are also playing to that win condition. They understand that PSG's win condition is this wombo fight, and if PSG don't want to take it, they're free to just take towers, get free gold into this Fiora, and even if they bring 4 people, it might not be enough to kill this man.
Yeah, Leakai just took 1,200 damage off a tower with the blade work. That was nasty to say the least here, but we do have a bit of damage being taken here by Kino. He's not going to be able to sustain that one up as easily here. And it looks like PSG are trying to find an angle, maybe go for a fight. Never a team of quitters right here, but it's so hard. Like, what do you do in this situation? Do you go for Fiora first, or just let Fiora do her thing and go for the rest of the team? It seems like such a tough position.
Definitely catch-22, and if I'm the side of PSG, you have to just throw everything and the kitchen sink onto Leakai. You have to get rid of him first. He doesn't have a GA, so he's not going to be able to buy extra time with the stasis. You just have to all in and take him out, and that way you're able to reset the map and hopefully then find something for yourself. But now, I mean, it's already a Cloud Soul, so the next dragon will be Elder. And BYG, this is a very well-measured game. Yes, it's definitely a lot slower than what we'd like to see from BYG, but that's sort of how 1-3-1 compositions end up playing out sometimes, because you're just waiting for the 1-3-1 to actually develop.
You want those champions to have all the farm possible. You want them to hit level 18 like Leakai is right now. And Burry gonna get a bit of damage.
Burry's level 13.
Oh boy, yeah, that's I don't fancy the monkey having a fight against the Fiora
anyone.
Right here. You're right. Busha even 3 levels ahead of the Monkey King.
Yeah, he's keeping in pace with Kino. But that's really it, and it's definitely a rough time because you need those levels as the Wukong to be able to have those extra stats, the extra skill points. And now, oh, that's a big zap.
Yeah, throw some damage onto Kaiwing. That's the ultimate stolen by Minji. Take a little while for him to get that cooldown back, but as we have said, he does have the Cloud Soul, so it should be all that long. In the meantime, Leakai just keeping Hanabi busy, and this is not fair. Hanabi cannot hold on to his tower. He even gets hit by the riposte. Instantly mobs into the grand challenge there. And look at the people trying to come in and save this one. Burry goes in, but Hanabi comes out into the fountain. Burry instantly has to go into the Zanias himself. They do have Busha across the wall by himself, but the rest of the team is chasing up afterwards.
You fine?
Oh, they do manage to get a lot of HP bars low, but no deaths on the side. And Beyond Gaming are going to take all 3 inhibitors off the base of PSG now.
Yeah, and the unified threat is sort of looming here.
Kaiwing gets zapped here. Riposte goes through. He has the stasis. This could be the end if he does fall. And down goes the support. Who's already up to full HP. 46 seconds until the support comes back in. Beyond Gaming are going to play this one a little bit safer and go for the Baron instead.
Yeah, there's definitely the possibility of Minji just going for a recall into the teleport straight back into the base, but knowing that Baron was on the table, it will be the side of BYG securing that objective for themselves, and then most likely utilizing that to finish out the game. Maybe, okay, teleport coming in. They really want to make sure PSG can't get their eyes in towards the Baron, and it looks like they'll just have to settle onto the red buff. Maybe possible game ends, but no, that won't be the case. It will be the reset, and what do you know, in 55 seconds, it's going to be that Elder Dragon. And with this composition of PSG, surely you just throw everything at this Elder Dragon. It's one or the other.
Can they
and
get
for
out
sure
of their base?
Man, it is definitely impossible. Mission impossible for PSG.
Leakai coming in, he got his eyes on Hanabi. Hanabi instantly pops his ultimate right there. It doesn't want any part of this fight.
It's only one vital.
Yeah, and that was like a quarter of his HP going down. Wako also finding some good damage on a Kaiwing here. Looks like Beyond Gaming are going to go for a big push, see what they can get. Knows out the Elder to turn around back into it. 700 damage hit. They want all 3 inhibs down before they turn their attention elsewhere on the map, or they could just be eyeing for the finisher. Navi doesn't have the tank stats to fight in the front line anymore. In goes the ultimate. Yufai gonna stay alive. He's behind his towers. He's dealing lots of damage. Here comes the ricochets, and in goes Rakan. He gets melted here. A good find by Unified. He expends both his summoners,
kill
but stays
Nexus.
alive, and they're going for the big base right here. Once that falls, it doesn't matter how many people are dead. League's trying to find his angle, going in there. Gory takes a lot of HP. Busy trying to find the back line, and in they start working. Renekton just melts to the damage, and it doesn't matter if they have casualties. They're gonna take the base. Beyond Gaming with the dominating game 1 over PSG.
BYG once more flexing the Fiora muscles. They brought it out against CFO, had mixed success, but this time in this game number 1, very important game number 1, they come out swinging with the Fiora blind pick, and it absolutely runs over the game.